What's up, chat? I'm not gonna pretend like I was a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan just because he died. I always find that cringe about how society suddenly like fucking flips on everything once as soon as somebody dies. Everybody suddenly starts talking about how important that person was to their life, even though like 90% of the people that's probably not true. And it's especially bad for like the morality of the person. Like you have to like talk about what a great person the person was, unless they were just like straight up the Unabomber or something. I find it all rather disingenuous. Of course, growing up in my timeline, Ozzy Osbourne naturally was a huge part of the zeitgeist if you were a teenager in, I don't know, 2000. When did the Osbournes come out as a TV show? I can't remember. But I sure as hell did not grow up listening to Black Sabbath, so I'm not going to pretend like I'm a huge Ozzy fan. Although I do listen to classic radio in the car, so if you listen to classic radio in the car, listening to various Ozzy Osbourne songs is basically unavoidable, I guess. You can spell Tamiya from Toriyama, who also died today. Wait, which Tamiya is this? When I hear Tamiya, I think about the corporation that makes the little toy cars that you race in Yakuza. What's up? That's right. Did the car guy die? Okay, so now I have to pretend like I spent my childhood playing with small toy cars, which I actually fucking did. That was also completely unavoidable if you were a kid in the 90s in Japan. Nobody had a track though. You couldn't race your mini four-wheel drive cars because nobody had a fucking track. There was one kid whose mother bought him whatever he wanted. There was always like one kid in school, right, whose parents just spoiled them and who had all the cool toys. So there's just one kid who had a track. But I don't think we ever actually used it more than like once. William Dafoe turned 7 today, so it's alright. What, is William Dafoe like immortal and going back in time? Is that what's going on? My school had a mini four-wheel drive club, and that's the only track we had around. I grew up on the manga of Let's and Go. which was a Japanese children's manga, but they had the craziest fucking... Of course, it existed only to sell four-wheel drive, mini four-wheel drive toys, but they had like some of the craziest fucking cars and courses and shit like that. It was always like... For one thing, the kids had to run at like full speed right next to the cars along these like super long tracks, and like there was always like an evil corporation who would host these tournaments, as they always do, and it was always like, we've set up this course inside a miniature black hole, and if your car's traction settings aren't perfect, it'll get sucked into the 8th dimension and obliterated by 8 gorillion tons of gravity. And the kids would be like, no! Not my toy car! But then you could use the power of friendship to, you know, jump across the course or some shit and it would be fine. Many such cases. That and Yonkuro. Yeah, Yonkuro was like right before Let's and Go. So I didn't read Yonkuro because I wasn't in Japan at the time. Yonkuro was like the beginning of the 90s, and Let's and Go was like mid-90s, I think. Dashu Yonkuro. Evil Toy Corporation, Game Corporation, very real. I mean, look at Wizards of the Coast. It's just like my Japanese children's comics, except instead of them trying to take over the world, well, they're probably trying to do that as well. Hasbro will send you the Pinkertons instead and beat you up because they sent you a magic card by mistake. If you think about it, that shit is so evil it wouldn't even happen inside a children's manga. The evil corporation mistakenly sends you their super rare card, and then they send fucking private detectives after that to fuck up your life after their own fucking mistake. If it was a children's cartoon and they mistakenly sent you the card, it wouldn't be a mistake. For one thing, they would be like, ah, I see, the heart of the cards has chosen its new master. This young child is the only one who's truly prepared to harness the power of our newly issued Black Lotus Prime. Are you prepared for your destiny, son? And he's like, Nandato? What do you mean I have to join this card tournament now? I'm just a normal kid. There's no situation in a children's toy cartoon in which they're like, no, you have to give the toy back. You're not allowed to participate in the activity. Because that would kind of defeat the purpose now, wouldn't it? Perhaps Wizards can learn something from that concept. Just with more rape and money stuff, my hentai always have the Yu-Gi-Oh girls getting raped, so I've seen plenty of my Akiza porn. Akiza and what's her name? Alexis for Yu-Gi-Oh GX? I can't remember her name. The one that in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime has moderate-sized boobs, but when they do hentai of her, her boob size is like astronomical. Yeah, she has moderate C-cup sized breasts, but the power of hentai takes these boobs and, you know, explodes them into triple D-cup boobs the size of her head whenever porn gets drawn of her. Evil corporation sends buff-suited men to retrieve a rare figurine from an unwilling otaku who turns out to be a small woman who is definitely college age with long sleeves, and it is just Tomoko. That collar looks fucking stupid. What? How could you say that? That's like Kaiba fashion right there that you're making fun of. Next you'll say that Yugi has dumb hair. That makes no sense. It's time to duel. Okay, that's enough French music. The fucking French. I hate them. I hate them. It's okay, Twitch. I'm not being racist. I'm only talking about the French. Is that Tomo-chan? No. Tomo-chan also drawn by a hentai author, by the way. I just like to point that out. I was just browsing Pixiv and reading some of the manga that was in Pixiv, and I was like, huh, this person is pretty good at drawing stuff besides porn. And then I was like, oh, this is the person that drew that hentai like 8 years back about that one skinny karaoke store manager woman getting drugged and gang raped by people. That was pretty hot. I liked how realistic her body type was. It made the entire situation more realistic. And then I kept on browsing his stuff, and I was like, huh, he has a lot of Tomo-chan artwork. He must like it. No, wait, this is the original author, LMAO. So, if anyone's wondering if drawing porn is a detriment to your career as a mangaka in Japan, it is obviously not. Not only do people graduate from porn and go to, you know, the non-pornographic parts, they can just do both at the same time and jump back and forth. I hate the French. Why do they speak Arabic and Afrikaans? Because, because of colonialism, I'm gonna go ahead and say. Release the files, you'll be richer beyond your wildest dreams. Do we really need to? I don't know. There's more porn of Mirko on the internet than we could ever have imagined. Like, I don't need my porn to come from the official source. In fact, I'm perfectly fine with the 8 gorillion gigabytes of AI porn. Although there isn't much Murata character AI porn, I'll say that. I don't think there's many good Murata AI Laura models. I haven't found one yet. If I had found a Murata AI Laura model that someone was using to generate porn, I would definitely be following that person. And I haven't really found anything. I want some Doesu porn, people. Get on it. I don't think people like Murata's faces as much. Yeah, but people are still super horny for Murata's characters. I think that's more of a AI limitation thing than whether people like the art style or not. If there's one thing I've learned from diddling around with AI myself is that some shit in AI just doesn't like work well, and it's not clear why. Like AI is not a system in which you enter 1 plus 1 and then you get 2. It's a system where you put in like 8 million things. In fact, all this stuff has already been inputted and you don't really have control over it. And then every once in a while you'll think that you're using a normal system and then like it'll just shit out completely different stuff and it's hard to understand why it's shitting the bed and why it isn't. That's the most genuine thing you said. Murata's style is hard to emulate. Let's speak bluntly here. I don't think so. I don't think it's Murata's style that's hard to emulate. I think Murata is like possibly the most talented and best mangaka when it comes to like drawing just a wide variety of stuff, like possibly of all time. But I don't think his style is impossible to emulate at all. If you just want to draw porn in Murata's style, then I think you could probably do it. I mean, if you look at verses, for example, I think it's done by some of Murata's assistants, and it looks very similar to Murata's style, including the paneling. I think Murata's strength is in his ability to be able to use that style and emulate other people's characters while maintaining the style, and then also draw extremely complicated compositions and stuff while maintaining like the page layout and shit, so it's still readable, which is something that I think like pretty much nobody else can do at his level. But I don't think the style itself is that difficult. Yeah, Versus looks a lot like Murata's style. I haven't actually confirmed who the assistants are. Versus manga 2022, illustrated by one or written by one Kyotaro Azuma. I have to go to Japanese side to figure that out. What happened to your stream? You used to have way more viewers than this? I don't know. It doesn't say if he was an assistant. Anywhere on the wiki. So I can't say for sure. Azuma Kyotaro. Let's see if I put in Murata's name. I'm not seeing any blogs talking about it, that he was an assistant or something, so it doesn't seem to be obvious. Mass goon die-off. I mean, it also takes a little bit of time to get people into the stream. We have 27 viewers. I don't know. Maybe there's just fewer people on like Twitch as a whole. I kind of feel like I don't know. It might just be me. I might be getting tired of just like being on Twitch. I mean, there's so many fucking ads. Twitch is React Andy Central. Yeah, I'm not sure that like it's a place to go anymore. Not to be that guy, but it kind of gets tired hearing you to bash Elon and Trump every stream. Not that I like them. I will stop bashing Elon and Trump once they stop doing things that requires bashing. Also, you try speaking into a mic for like 2.5 hours as you try to draw and see if you don't repeat yourself. I mean, am I really not supposed to fucking bash Trump when he just released MLK, CIA, FBI information just so that people would stop talking about the fucking Epstein files? Like, am I really not supposed to say anything about that? Like, if I didn't, there was a part of me that was like, maybe there is no Epstein list. For once, maybe it's not a conspiracy, but considering how hard they're trying to get people to stop talking about it, now I'm fucking completely convinced that there's an Epstein list and there's like straight up videotape of whatever shit Trump was doing with Epstein clients or some stuff like that. Like this is pretty abnormal even by like Trump standards for like distract you from whatever's going on stuff. He is in the files for sure. I mean, why wouldn't he be? It's just that everyone's shitting on them and I can go anywhere to hear that. You know what? Maybe I should turn face and become a Trump supporter in the other hand. Of course, there's plenty of those people as well. I am on the list. Nobody here gets to have sex, guys. So you want to see an author that was an assistant of somebody? I'll let you guess who this guy was the assistant of. Just based on this panel, I think you can fucking guess. This was canceled after like 6 weeks, by the way. No, it wasn't 6 weeks, it was more like 20 weeks. Look at the fucking street light, for example. The characters are different, but like this right here, the drink dropping. The lettering is the most obvious though. Every single one of the fucking lettering. I can tell why it's canceled. It's an Araki assistant. Look how fucking Araki the lettering is right here. Like the psh. Every single one of the letterings is Giga Araki assistants. Also the paneling is pure JoJo as well. And then the little things showing up in a train car. Like look at the little objects floating. And the choice of tones and stuff like that. By the way, this is the author that went on to do stuff like Summertime Rendering, which has like a completely different art style. Is drawing manga fun? No, it is not. It's insanely time-consuming. It is not fun. You need to do it, otherwise there's no manga. If you don't do it, then all the cool ideas and shit inside your brain dies when you die, and then it's lost like tears in rain. If you're not the person who goes out and makes your dreams into reality in a very literal sense, then nobody gets to know about it and share it. Is drawing manga meaningful? I think it was more meaningful when I was a kid than it is now. Now we have more ways in which to tell stories, like video games and, you know, anime and movies and shit like that. But when I was growing up, it was probably the only way. It was like, you know, anime wasn't as good, movies weren't as good, the video games definitely weren't as good. It was probably the most, you know, well thought out, well managed format of telling fiction, at least if we're going based on like producing visual stuff. It still is like one of the only mediums in which you can create a visual product entirely by yourself, so then it can be 100% the author's vision. It doesn't get diluted by any other people in the process, so that's very valuable, I would say. Obviously, if you're talking about stuff like American comics, those guys don't write their own shit, so... Fucked up. You only get like fucking one lifetime to do shit. Yes. And drawing takes so much fucking time. If you want to master skills, unless you're extremely talented at a variety of stuff, you can only master a few things. If we're talking about like actual mastery, you can probably only master one thing, or maybe like 0.5 of one thing, if we're being honest. Like, the actual masters spend their entire life trying to master that one thing, and, you know, there's still, like, I could be better, so... Hokusai, it said that when he was about to die and he was, like, 80 or something, and he was still drawing, he was talking about what a shit artist he was, and if he could just have, like, 5 more years, he could be slightly better. When I was younger, my dream was to draw a comic. Now that I'm older, I don't see a reason to. I would have nothing to value to say. There's a lot of professional manga artists like that, which are the people that end up doing the drawings only, and then they have a writer to do the writing for them. That's not that abnormal. There's just a lot of people that only like drawing and stuff like that. And then those people can either become an animator or become the person who's responsible for the drawing side of like a team. I'm more someone who, I don't hate drawing, but I learned how to draw manga because I have something to say. I used to draw manga in elementary school, and the characters of my manga look like this. This was the MC. This was his buddy. It was a buddy cop kind of story. It It was also colored at the time, I believe. I hadn't learned that black and white was superior back then. This thing was a block of clay, so he could stretch his arms like this and transform into shit. And this guy was a bottle of glue. They went on like time traveling adventures and stuff. In retrospect, this is probably all the character design you need. I could draw so much faster if that was all I needed to draw. For my Twitch viewership, I really do think it's more of a Twitch issue. Because I don't think I've really changed my act and what I'm saying and stuff. I really do think it's just people aren't on Twitch as often anymore. Because like my total number of Patreons spiked after I published the first few chapters of this manga. And I still get, you know, plenty of like commission requests, so I don't think it's like my brand going down. I still get similar number of likes, maybe more likes than I used to on Twitter and shit. I really do think it's a Twitch viewership issue. Twitch is dying its age of YouTube. Yeah, I think you're right about that, actually. Gamer culture seems like it's slightly dying at this point. Like, I don't tune into the same esports shit like I used to as well. It kind of feels like at the end of an era. It might be just because I'm getting older, but when I started watching like esports shit, everything felt like super new. This is a lot of it is this is just getting older, right? Because like when you're young, like the first championship your team wins or whatever is like the first time. Everything feels like life and death because you don't know if it's ever going to happen again. But now that we've had esports for like more than 15 years or so, I would say, like there isn't any sort of sense of urgency to it. Like it's nice to see who won like Evo or something, or you know, Tekken World Tour, but you know you're gonna have one next year as well. So speaking of which, is Evo? It's gonna be in August, right? When's Evo? Is it like August, first week of August or something? I am sort of looking forward to Evo, but not in the same way. Like when I first started watching Evo in like the early like in 2000 and what, like 2012 or so, like when it really started to pick off, like it felt like a fucking life and death occasion. Why are you crying about doing backgrounds? Feels bad, man. Backgrounds are fun to do. I don't like drawing anything at this point, considering I have to draw all day long, but I'm especially not looking forward to drawing backgrounds. Backgrounds can be slightly fun, but they're literally stuff that you pass over with your eyes in manga. They're not something you're supposed to stare at, so it's also something that I'm not used to doing, so I have to do it, and I have to practice, and I have to get better at it, but it's also going to be very difficult for me because I don't have the time already invested in it. Which means it's going to be a real pain in the ass, and it's not going to look as good as I want it to. Reminder that Evo got canceled and would have been over for good like 3 years ago. I mean, we have to thank Pokimane and Sony, I guess. It wouldn't have been over. There was a lot of brand recognition, so there's nothing weird with it getting bought up. If something has value, people will buy it and transfer it. I just trace a picture, I mean a photograph. Look at this photograph! Everything that makes me laugh. Well, I'm drawing fantasy environments, so I don't get to trace photographs. What culture can you have when there's no games? The culture of gaming as a whole is definitely on decline. It might pick back up again, but the industry basically decimated themselves. It turns out that having game journalists write, gamers are not your audience, and then having the game companies actually be like, you know what, you're right. Our customers are no longer our audience, might have some bad long-term effects. Need good games for it to pick back up? Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure what the what causes people to watch esports, you know? Because I used to watch a ton of esports and now I don't. And a lot of it is just Twitch having a bunch of ads and shit, but no one who has brain cells cares about game journalists and what they say. Yeah, except the video game companies actually follow that message and stop making video games for their core audience of young white males, or young males in general, I guess, considering they have to sell King of Fighters to Mexico, but anyways, if I actually do make it as a mangaka, that means that I probably won't be streaming anymore anyways, because I have to go anonymous in Japan then. I won't just be allowed to shoot the shit on stream, because there's no way I can stream for hours at a time without me saying stuff that will get me canceled. So ultimately I'm working to a goal that if I succeed at it, I'll have to say goodbye to these type of direct engagement with fans. If gamers were smarter, they would have boycotted all the bullshit a long time ago, and we wouldn't have game journalists. I mean, they are boycotting it in the format of they're not buying video games. That's what the boycott of Concord was. People saying, nah, I'm good, I'm not gonna play or buy that game. And then corporations were like, oh fuck. We've made a huge mistake. I mean, the boycott is just not buying stuff. Gamers do not have the ability to not buy something they actually want to buy. They're all going to buy it, but boycotts become mighty easy when nobody actually wants to play the game in the first place. As if the Japanese could connect the dots that this entirely unrelated American streamer somehow is our new mangaka. If I'm actually working on the manga on stream, then it will be pretty obvious. And I won't have any time to be doing anything besides working on the manga on stream, because you have to be drawing the goddamn thing non-stop, so... therein lies the problem. Anyways, that will be pretty far off in the future, so it's not a real big deal for now. I think I need to draw maybe about 200 more pages. At least. In general, the timeline for making it as a pro mangaka, it's said that around 500 pages, after you've drawn about 500 pages, you should get your first one-shot published. This is called your debut. And after about 1,000 pages, you should be able to get a series, some kind of serialization. These are sort of like cut-off limits, and obviously people that are more talented will get serialized and published faster and stuff like that, but it is sort of a good rule of thumb in how much grind time you need. Because you can't just be able to draw it, you have to be able to draw it quickly and efficiently, so you have to have like a style and a production system properly set up before you can get serialized. You could stream games in your free time. Oh, yeah. There is no free time. Let's hear the unfiltered takes by Ball on Kick. I like big boobs. I pretend that all boobs are created equal, but they're not equal. Large, shapely breasts are hard to come by and more valuable. Also, I would prefer extremely flat chests over like slightly flat chests. I feel like B cups and stuff are the least attractive of breasts. They're neither here nor there. I would prefer the woman to be completely flat, like just flat as a board, over having a B cup. Also, if you're a man and if you have boobs, that means you should need to work out and get rid of all that tit fat, or maybe you're using steroids. Male steroid breasts are so weird. I'll buy your first tankobon. If you pirate my tankobon, I will personally hack your house and find your location and then take time off from my extremely busy mangaka schedule to fly to your country and hunt you down. Gynecomastia. Holy shit, this guy has an amazing pair of breasts right there. Look at those, god damn. Twitch, these are male breasts, not female breasts. This is a bodybuilder. I'm not showing titties. Female titties. It just looks like that. This is literally a guy who is injecting his body full of testosterone and he gets female grade boobs. Crazy shit. The image on the right is after he got surgery to reduce them. Imagine thinking that you're gonna look like a insane Giga Chad and you end up basically looking like a woman. You like elliptical and dumbbell chest presses? No? Yeah, I do. Working your pecs feels good. Don't take drugs for quick gains. I mean, some people will look better on their steroids, but not everyone. Just because you use steroids doesn't mean you'll look jacked. You could just look bad. Forced feminization, dojin. No. Human testosterone-chan, please. I don't want to be a girl. It is weird how, like, we have our male hormones and female hormones, but once you start injecting the male hormones, like, all sorts of, like, female shit can happen and vice versa as well. Like, you're just messing with the equation so much that all the shit gets out of whack, and now you have, like, female aspects popping up. The only steroid you need is Aubrey's sweet face. So that panel took like about an hour for me. I think I've really come to the realization that I'm not actually focused if I have some shit on in the background. If I really need to bang shit out and get it right on the first try, I need to have like some like deep focus music on in the background and no sort of extra content, so I'm 100% thinking about what I'm drawing and really just sort of looking back and forth between my two monitors and looking at the completed product and being like, okay, what do I need to draw next? What am I trying to do with this line? Is this dark enough? What am I doing here? How do I need to solve this problem? Etc. Etc. Like, if I'm not thinking about that, then I'm gonna end up taking way too much time. But it's fucking hard to maintain focus hour after hour, so I almost always start up some sort of second screen content after a while. And obviously I'm have the least amount of focus going on right now when I'm trying to talk to you guys. Like, I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing, I'm just sort of like moving my hands and eventually it gets done. But like a bunch of shit that I do when I'm on stream, I end up going back and being like, nah, I need to change this, I need to change that. I recommend biannual beats for studying 90 minutes. Yeah, I can do it with like several different types of music, but music helps. I'm not a big music guy. I prefer listening to like spoken word and shit, but I've realized that if I actually want to focus, I need to like go deep into the music hole. I don't enjoy focusing, even though I can hyper focus if I need to. It's like asking my brain to do a lot of work, so. However, if there's one thing I've figured out after drawing like 100+ pages of manga now, is that all of this shit is just skills, and all of these things you can train. So even if I can't do it right now, if I force myself to just like hyper focus again and again and again, I think I'll be able to do it. I've literally been able to do everything I wasn't able to do because when I started out, I was having difficulty even like drawing for more than 4 or 5 hours a day. And now I can do 10 hours a day pretty easily. Now I just need to increase speed and maintain focus throughout that, and like change my workflow, and then I can increase my speed pretty dramatically, I'm pretty sure. Right ear Alex Jones podcast, left ear feminization hypno. The frogs are all turning gay, guys. Is Alex Jones still podcasting? How is he going to pay off his like $1 billion of lawsuit debt if he's not allowed to podcast? I think he has to podcast, right? But then wouldn't he also be barred from further spreading conspiracy theories or some shit? Yeah. It's pretty crazy that he had to just straight up say that. What did he say? He said that the Sandy Hook parents, their children weren't actually dead and it was a false flag operation and stuff. And then he kept on continuing that even after like conspiracy theorists that listened to his show were showing up at Sandy Hook and like yelling at the parents, telling them that their kids weren't actually dead and they didn't exist and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy that you have to get to that point for our courts to basically step in and tell somebody to shut the fuck up. The First Amendment right might be a little too strong in this country, it methinks. They said the parents were actors paid to pretend they lost their kids at Sandy Hook. That's right. The term is crisis actors. That's right, guys. If anything bad happens in the country, it's just the liberals trying to convince you that something bad happened. It didn't actually happen, guys. Did he say what they were crisis actors for? Was it like for the gun control lobby or some shit like that? I can't remember how the entire thing's setup works. It sort of makes me think that Republicans in America are just kind of like they're pure-hearted in that they don't want to believe that like shit is actually really horrible. Like they don't actually want to believe that like 30 elementary school kids were murdered. I mean, it sort of goes against the core concept of God, you know? Which is probably one of the reasons why it's hard if you're like a Christian. Will that big booby lichen lesbian vampire show up in this series? It sort of takes place in the same universe, and so they're undead, so they're still alive and around, or dead and around, but I don't think they're gonna show up. I don't have enough screen time. It takes so much time to fucking draw anything. The vampire isn't undead, but Alice the necromancer is normally alive. Yeah, but she's gonna be dead. At which point she will transition to like ghost boobs. She will undeadify herself when her age comes. This might be a little too much highlights, I'm not sure. Yeah, it seems okay, I don't know. How do ghost boobs feel? Can you even feel them? You just enjoy them visually. You can't grab them, unfortunately. Is one panel worth time it takes for correcting when you could be shading next panel? I'm going to be extremely time consuming on all these pages because I need to get used to producing something which I consider to be high quality, and then I can start figuring out how to cut quality and increase speed. But I'm still in the sort of figuring out all the details I need for it to look good stage. And some of that might be increasing the amount of details and then being like, no, that was a mistake, and then deleting what I drew. But yeah, I think you have to do addition before you can start doing subtraction. It's Aubrey panels, it can't be helped. The most important thing in a rom-com is to make sure the girls look cute in every single image. There is nothing more important than making sure the facial expression and like the aura the aura farming abilities of every girl is at its maximum peak. If the reader isn't falling in love with the anime girl while they're reading your manga, then your manga isn't going to succeed, so... You really have to maximize the quality for that shit. Meanwhile, backgrounds, if the background looks good enough, I don't care. I'm not going to be spending a shit ton of the backgrounds, even if I draw a bunch of details. I'm not, like, actually doing the whole perspective lines and stuff like that. I don't think that stuff is that important, at least at this stage. Do you think if you stood up from your chair, it just meld with your flesh and become your turtle shell? You sound like a newbie who doesn't know the lore of the BaalBud universe, in which I lie on my bed mattress, slouched with my head against the wall when drawing. I don't have a desk or a chair. All of my activities on this earth take place on, like, the same square of my mattress and futon. My drawing, my gooning, my gaming, it's all within like 5 feet of each other. In fact, it's all in the same location. It's not even 5 feet. It's the exact same posture. The only reason I don't die from carpal tunnel, deep vein thrombosis or whatever shit is because I make sure and get up and do like squats and stuff every hour or so. Make MC Escher level backgrounds. Spend all your time on backgrounds. Thank you for showing up, Death Striker, to offer that completely unhelpful advice. I will have my assistant draw slave do that for me. Now that Hystrixia is gone, we don't have anybody else to ask about the deep lore about Twilight and stuff like that, so I'm glad that the only other publicly known female person in this chat has showed up again. I never give helpful advice. Who should I be on? Team Edward or Team Jacob? Who do you think is more a better man for Bella, myself insert, while reading Twilight? Fuck if I know anything about Twilight, but I can consult my fellow Harpies. All I know is that Jacob is like 5'4" or something, so... I don't think he'd be getting that much girls in real life. Team Bueno, excelente. Edward is technically a pedophile. Wouldn't Jacob be the same, though? They're both going after the same girl. Oh, wait, I forgot. That's right. Wasn't Edward saying that he was watching over Bella since she was a baby or some shit? That's right. I forgot about the lore. Sorry. Yeah, it's something about, like, he knew Bella since she was a baby and blah, 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 blah. See, this is why we need some female in chat to remind us about the deep lore of the Twilight series. I got up to movie 3. I finished movie 3, good for me, and I haven't been able to finish the last 2 movies. Edward is like hundreds of years old. It would have been weird if she was over 18. Twilight is so fucking stupid. Yes. The girls are so silly. Unlike girls, I watch my more enlightened anime in which the 3,000-year-old fox shrine maiden, lowly baba, cooks and cleans for me and pats my head and tells me everything is fine. Feels good, man. It's okay when it caters to me personally. It really do be like that. Although I will say that I do think that a lot of the best-selling female content, like the high-level popular female content, is dumber than the low-level, or what would I say, the high-level male content. Like Twilight is dumber than Lord of the Rings. I don't know. When you get into the lowbrow content, which is basically what Twilight is, if we're being honest, then it's all the same. Saw some Twitter comic about Fox Shrine Maiden who was only attracted to elderly men. No, not my Shota fantasies. It is obviously supposed to be a parody of the Shota. I feel like you're generalizing. I mean, 50 Shades of Grey is essentially porn smut. And if you go to, like, the Harlequin novel, which was what we had before we had these sort of breakthrough things like 50 Shades of Grey and shit like that, that is also smut. So it's like the equivalent of, I don't know, Love Hina. I'm saying that, like, shit that wouldn't get a huge, would be considered relegated into cringe otaku content in the male sphere gets, like, a much wider, like, acceptance as official, respectable female content, is basically what I want to say. Women pretend to like these romance books. We just can't let people know that girls love Faust. I read Faust. I didn't get it. Goethe was being a pissy little bitch. He needed to just man up and tell what's her name. What was it? Gertrude? I forgot her name. That he loved her or some shit. I don't know. No, wait. I'm getting mixed up. I'm getting the original play Faust and then Goethe's Faust mixed up. Gretchen. All Kafka characters are pissy little bitches. That's what makes it so high quality literature. I can't self-insert in a female who's being chased by sexy vampires, but I can definitely self-insert and sympathize with a man who wakes up and finds that he's a bug and everybody thinks he's pathetic and disgusting. He's just like me, for real, for real. Ugh, I don't like this. I want to use dappled light here, but I don't like where... The problem with these, like, tones is that... Well, it's not a tone, for one thing. It's like a brush, but the problem with that is that I don't have enough control over where I get, like, the white dots and shit that I want to put down. It doesn't look the way I want it to look like. Girls also love Dostoevsky. Every girl is just a miserly old woman waiting for their young, impoverished student to show up one day and brutally murder them with a hatchet. So hot. Raskolnikov's Sexo. I started listening to Dostoevsky while I was drawing, and I got to, like, I don't know, chapter 5 or something in the audiobooks, because it's, like, free novel at this point, right? Because it's public domain. But I don't think it was very productive for me trying to do any drawing work, so I think I stopped. I might try and finish it. It's not that long. Maybe I need to make the brush smaller. Maybe that's my problem here. No, I need to make the particle density... The particle density is fine. We'll make the particle size smaller. Like 80 maybe, and then keep the brush size the same. I don't know. Probably easier if you use a paneling tool for masking. I've thought about using the paneling tool, but I don't really plan to. I might start. I'm gonna test around with it. There's parts about the paneling tool that I don't like. I liked it more before. Reset to default. Swiss cheese is the most emotional of all cheeses. We all know that. It's more interesting in Russian. I'm sure it is, but I can't be bothered to fucking learn Russian just so I can read like the 3 or 4 classic novels. It's not like there's any like modern shit that Russia has done that requires you to know Russian to particularly appreciate it. It's not like you're gonna have any business opportunities. Brie is for sociopaths. I like Brie too. If there's one thing that you really miss out on when you're in Japan, it's the cheese. Oh, I can always double it up. That's interesting. To make it like super soft focus. Now that's some giga soft focus right there. Look at that. Camembert fools you into thinking it tastes as good as it looks. You know, I must say, I don't know if there's any cheese in which I'm like, fuck this cheese, I hate this cheese. I think I like all the cheeses. But on the other hand, I haven't really gone out of my way to get, you know, really get into cheese. It's not a cheap hobby to get into. What do you think of FGO's bar guest? Sexo. Big, strong woman like that require mating press correction by me, except not actual me because I'm only like 6 feet tall. I need to grow into a massive, you know, 8 foot tall hulking behemoth muscle man so I can mating press her properly. Characters like Bargus motivate me to become extremely muscular so I can have muscular sex with anime women. Why does your dad sound like Silent Hill character? I don't think my dad sounds like a Silent Hill character. Where did you get that information? If anything, I sound like a Silent Hill character. What do you think of Visa and MasterCard duopoly? I want to go to Japan and create my JCB card. I believe that's what the acronym was. They won't issue ones outside of the country, so you need to go to Japan to get it. So I can buy DL Site. I bought a bunch of DL Site games after the DL Site ban that they installed. There was a way around it, but I don't know if they've closed that by now. Oh, holy shit. There's a raid, boys. What's up, chat? Hurry, chat. Think of something to say to the raiders to make them stay in the stream instead of immediately leaving, which is what usually happens. I also love Chinese cartoons. This is a manga. This is chapter 4 of my manga. You can read the rest on my Twitter account, linked in the page below. It's very good. What is your favorite isekai? If anybody tries and starts a fucking isekai conversation right now, I will ban them. Please stop. This is an impregnation manga. Not yet. Maybe in the future. We'll figure something out. It's about emotional impregnation, not physical impregnation. I think Escaflowne is the best. I actually haven't seen Escaflowne, even though it was advertised to me as I was growing up in the 2000s. Because I had like the Gundam VHS tapes. And among the things that they were shilling for other videos from this video publisher was Escaflowne. But I was like, eh. It has robots, but it also has a female as the main character. Yeah, I think the shoujo genre was hard in the isekai context way before it became popular in the current format. Because, what was it? The Chinese one, what was it? 7 Kingdoms? How many kingdoms was it? That's also isekai, I think. Just a lot of stories in which an average I'm not pretty teehee Japanese high school girl gets sent to a fantasy world, and then she's like, oh no, there's nothing, I don't know what to do, and then this is an excellent setup for hot ikemen guys to be mean to her, being like, who is this weirdo barbarian woman? I should bully her. And she's like, no, please. Ikemen guy, please don't bully me. I hate this. Cries. He's bullying her because he finds her hot, of course. Is it true that VHS tapes degrade with replays, or does that only happen when you overwrite them with something else? You should try watching some of the VHS tapes I have in my basement. They've degraded so bad. They're not doing very hot right now. So yeah, we complain a lot about the current state of technology, but there has definitely been a lot of technological progress. Make no mistake. Also, when you like tape shit over stuff, they're like JPEGs, and that if you try and save stuff repeatedly and then retape it and retape it, then the tape of the tape of the tape will be worse than the original copy and stuff, I believe. Because it's all magnets, right? I can't remember how this shit works, but it's nice that we live in this enlightened age of pirated media in which we can just losslessly copy everything and transmit it to other people indefinitely. This is why I only watch the Hardy Boys VHS once a year. Wait, is this the wrestling Hardy Boys or a different Hardy Boys? Wrestling LOL. Were the Hardy Boys the wrestlers that had 3D, or am I thinking of a different tag team wrestlers? They're all merging together in my mind right now. Did the Hardy Boys was like, there was one guy who was like kind of fat and he was wearing 3D glasses? See, now my mind is getting messed up. Hardy Boys wrestling. Oh yeah, you're right. They are dressed like Hot Topic. They're very Hot Topic. And who was I thinking of? Oh, the Dudley Boys. That's who I'm thinking of. So here are the Hardy Boys. They're definitely full Hot Topic zoned right here. Yeah. And in my mind, I was thinking about Dudley Boys wrestling. Yeah, I was thinking about these guys instead. I can't remember, but I think they were supposed to be brothers or something. I don't know. I find them far more menacing than these guys. The glasses in particular are terrifying. Half brothers, LOL. Do you think they were actual brothers, guys? There's no way wrestling would ever lie to me. Bro doesn't have enough new tab bookmarks. That's the power of Firefox. Whenever I click new tab, they create a new tab bookmark in the top, and I don't understand why they think this is a good idea. But I only use it when I'm streaming as my browser, which doesn't have any of my information logged into it, so it won't mistakenly show my location and stuff, hopefully. Matt Hardy's 2015-2016 delete era is still peak comedy. I only watched wrestling for a very brief period of time in my life because I didn't have cable, and my parents were definitely not going to pay for any of these insane pay-per-view prices, so... Dudley Boys are brothers and wrestling is real. I mean, wrestling is partially real. All the wrestling moves can hurt you in real life. They just do them in ways in which hopefully they won't break their neck. Except the one where the guy pretends that his hand is a cobra, and then the cobra is biting you. That one isn't real, but everything else is pretty real. They're all paid actors, actually. I'm a paid actor, and so is my chat. Whoever's watching this right now, you don't know that, in fact, this is all AI prompting being done in real time, and I'm not actually drawing anything. And all the people in chat are paid actors to make it look like I'm successful. I truly believe all these wrestlers have serious beef. I'm sure some of them have serious beef. They're all on like insane steroids, so. But I bet they don't actually get matched up if they have like if the beef is too real, they probably don't get booked against each other, so they will be able to cooperate, right? It would be a problem if they actually started hurting each other in the ring, so. Pro wrestling is lame. We should do televised nude prank as the pankuraton, as the ancients intended. No woman allowed, though. Only gay oil wrestling among other sexually attractive Greek men, I guess. You gotta practice with your opponents so they like each other to a degree. Yeah, you have to work with each other. Unless you have like a dispute with the WWF, and then you fucking what was it? The whatever job, the Vancouver scam job. I forgot what it was called. It was like Owen Hart was supposed to his contract was coming up. It was well known that he didn't plan to resign, so he was planning to like win. And then, like, the Montreal Screwjob, that's the term. He was planning to win and then, like, run away with the title or some shit. So, to prevent him from doing that, like, the WWF, like, cut the lights or something? I can't remember how it worked. Was WWF the original V Shoujo? In terms of, like, being run by morally corrupt human beings, then I would say that boxing and wrestling were way ahead. Like the VTubers getting fucked over by whatever their organization is nothing new. Except in the case of VTubers, their need for having like a parent organization is infinitely less than like wrestling stars, because you can't wrestle alone, but you definitely can VTube alone, so. VTubers just shouldn't join an organization. They should just save up $1,000 or just like go into credit card debt and then pay someone to build their rig or whatever they need. Like, it sure took a long time for people to figure that out, but Montreal Screwjob was Vince McMahon switching the results between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart so that Bret would be forced to give up title. I think I may commission a sexo commission between BB-chan and his Hime-cut girlfriend. It would have to be, for it to be realistic, it would have to be me lying on the bed, starfish style, and having my fictional girlfriend ride me. And me being like, no, I don't know how to have sex. This is so weird. You're also knowledgeable about wrestling. I mean, if you grew up in my age group, there was always like 2 or 3 kids in the middle school who were pretending to do wrestling shit. You know, there was always like the kids, you know how you like you do the fake kicks when you stomp the ground to make it look more real? You make the big sound with your other leg as you stomp, as you pretend to do the kick to make a sound. There was always like kids doing that shit in my middle school. They fucking loved wrestling. It satisfied some sort of deep primal aspect of the 12-year-old child. I was the wrestling autist in middle school. I always liked WCW versus NWO more than the WWE because it was even sillier. WWE Monday Night Raw was pretty fucking silly, but WCW was even sillier. It was the peak of silliness. It was just people walking around like actual cartoon characters. NWO is peak. There will never be anything as excellent. I like Goldberg. He seemed like a very solid guy. Like you could run into him and you would like break your arm if you bumped into him. I like that aspect of Goldberg. Goldberg! None of this can compete with Creative Superstar in those WWE games. It was always fun to do Creative Superstar. If we had WWE now when I was like 14 now, I think I would really appreciate how the blatant sexual content of wrestling at the time. I liked how they would do like the crotch chops and stuff and say things like suck it. And it was like, suck what? What does he mean? Please, someone explain to me. What does X-Pac mean when he crotch chops his penis area and tells me to suck it? My friend got mad the other day because I edited MLB The Show characters to have super tiny heads and big bodies. Reminder, Goldberg played Killer Santa in a film. Goldberg had a very minor but successful movie career, I feel. He was like in Universal Soldier Part 2 or some shit like that. This was the pre-Rock era where we weren't like, all of these wrestlers are actors, we should all give them Hollywood gigs. Instead we were like, wrestling is real, so none of these people know how to act, was the general feeling. Killer Santa played by a Jewish man. In retrospect, there's quite a few killer Christmas movies. I particularly enjoyed Jack Frost because it had a snowman rape scene in a bathtub involving the woman in American Pie who took off her top in American Pie. I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm seeing this in a movie. It was a different time, folks. Thanksgiving doesn't get enough love. Is that an actual movie? I'm sure it is. It's a 2008 film. Wow. In the height of the American recession, what we need more than ever is this fake turkey monster, I guess. Turkey puppet that kills people. You know, we don't really need this fake turkey. Honestly, normal turkeys look pretty fucking menacing to begin with. Like, this is actually scarier than the fake turkey, if you think about it. This thing. Look at those black, lifeless eyes. And this... all this, like, massive feathers. And this creepy-ass blue skin. Holy shit, this bird is terrifying. And even the ear looks creepy as fuck. Look at this thing. If this thing was, like, staring at you when you were trying to sleep, I'd just, like, piss my fucking pants. I saw one in the field the other day. Those birds don't give a shit. I saw a turkey that was crossing the street, and it was, like, holding up 2 or 3 or 4 lanes of traffic, and all the cars were beeping at it, and it was just, like, going super slow. Nobody had the balls to run it over. It was too fucking Chad. Just a massive Chad bird. See ya, man. When properly prepared, turkey slaps. I don't know. The problem with turkey is that it doesn't go very well with Japanese food. Like, it doesn't go well with rice. That's a huge problem. It's not a very good good rice food. It's only really good with, like, mustard and, like, mayo and sandwiches and stuff, I would say. Good night. Enjoy your work. I should probably start streaming earlier because I'm kind of in the neither here nor there zone for Western or for American viewers versus Euro viewers when I start streaming around 4, but what happens is, like, I'm like, I have to finish this many panels before I start the stream, or else there's nothing to work on while I'm streaming kind of situation. So it always gets later and later because I have to, like, draw more shit. Turkey is great for stuffing your mouth closed while your bigot relatives talk about some fascist shit. Yeah, but it would be good even if it wasn't turkey, though. Like, if you replace the turkey with, like, roast beef or something, it would be a overall better experience, you know? You started almost exactly as my shift began tonight. It's also, like, the hottest that my room is at 4 p.m. So I keep on being like, I'll start streaming earlier because my room becomes too uncomfortable during the summer, but instead I've had a few days of relatively cool weather, so I'm back in my procrastinating time schedule instead of the get out of my fucking room because it's too hot time schedule right now. Salmon over turkey anytime. Yeah. My mother feeds me a lot of salmon already. She definitely doesn't feed me much turkey, though. I don't know. I feel like turkey just isn't a great bird to eat. It's kind of dry if you don't do it well. It's too sweet. That's a huge problem. It was one lady who was obsessed with recipes that had turkey. Why do turkey when chicken is just better? Has anyone had, like, fried turkey? Like, fried chicken version of turkey? I feel like everything tastes good when it's deep fried because it's, you know, bad for you. And you could just, like, if fried chicken tastes good, wouldn't fried turkey be even better? I know there's people that go out of their way and make like deep fried whole turkeys and stuff on Thanksgiving, but you have to have like a huge, like massive deep fryer to do it. It would be a huge project. I have because I'm from the deep south. It's still dry as fuck with bread coating, so it doesn't really help. Well, I guess that's that then. There's a reason we all need gravy. Gotta cover our turkey with extra amount of fat. Also, everyone has already admitted at this point that they don't actually like the turkey. If you ask, like, what's your favorite dish of Thanksgiving, very few people actually say the turkey. They always like the stuffing or this side or that side and stuff like that. I think everyone's already ready to admit that the turkey isn't that very good. Some of the podcasters I listen to were just straight up saying that I made roast beef this year instead of turkey and stuff like that, so. Also had turducken that was horrifyingly delicious. I mean, the duck has so much fat. You'd think that the ducken would, the duck part would just sort of compensate for all the shortcomings of the turkey. In fact, I'd say like they're a perfect combo because I usually find duck to be too fatty and too oily, and the turkey is usually the opposite. So if you combine the two, I feel like that's the right idea. We should probably make turducken a much more common dish. Thanksgiving is just an excuse for me to spend $20 on cheese to make fancy mac and cheese. Thanksgiving is just an excuse for me to say all my politically incorrect opinions. I am the cringe uncle. I'm just gonna go to Thanksgiving and be like, so, what about that ethnic group? Why do they do that shit, huh? Why can't they behave like normal Americans? How about that? Just kidding, there's no Thanksgiving in Japan. Although I am the cringe uncle at this point. You know it's bad when all of your nieces... So the way my Japanese family setup goes, I had two older cousins and then two younger, I guess, nieces. And everybody is like 4 years apart. So at this point, the older of my two younger nieces already has like a 3-year-old kid or something. So I'm literally the only person who still has no family and no like children or any shit like that at this point. I'm definitely like the black sheep weird ass uncle. It's like, don't ask him what he does for a living. Realizing that you're the cringe uncle now is how many American men are learning to accept their own adulthood nowadays. Nah, I'm not cringe. I'm the cool uncle. I'm gonna show all the kids where to land in Fortnite. The last time I was in Japan, my older cousin brought his like two kids to the unagi place where we were eating, and I was talking to them, and one of the kids, his eldest daughter is asking me about like what colleges she was planning to go to and stuff, and I was like, shit, I'm old. Also, when I explained to her what I do for a living, I was like, do you know Patreon? And she was like, yes. So I was like, okay, that explains it. Good. I don't have to go into detail about how I'm an internet beggar. His younger child was fucking playing Roblox on his phone at the table, and I was like, LMAO. I guess still on the younger side of things because I know that he's playing Roblox just by looking at his phone from like 10 feet away, whereas his parents and my mother probably have no idea what the fuck he's doing, so I guess I'm still in the man-child category instead of the adult category. Imagine wanting to have children. I don't want to have children. But I do want to be a normal member of society. I just am incapable of it. I wish I could be the type of person that could have children, but I cannot. It would be too annoying. I can't even tolerate being within 5 feet of people when I'm at the gym and stuff. If I had a child that was constantly badgering me about shit, I would lose my mind. Remember when giving a child unrestricted internet access led them to unimaginable horrors and not just like Roblox grooming? It turns out that the Roblox grooming was the unimaginable horror all along. I grew up and I got to look at all sorts of, I don't know, sexo content that loaded extremely slowly because we were on dial-up connection, and I turned out fine. Whereas the kids that get the Roblox grooming, I'm not sure they're doing so well. Bonsai Kittens and Goatsy made me the adult I am today. See, I somehow escaped Goatsy until I started doing this stream and people notified me about it, and I was like, what's Goatsy? And they're like, don't show it on the Twitch stream. Twitch will not enjoy that. Cartel executions, but yeah, that too. I remember when my mother finally installed internet in the house and we used a dial-up connection, and I was like, holy shit, I can finally look at tits. The magic of the world at my fingertips. My mother installed all the sorts of like software that you're supposed to install so that kids wouldn't be able to browse boobs, but I was able to get into the sites. The thing was, they didn't have a full knowledge of all the different websites that had, you know, porn on them. So if you kept on searching, eventually you would find one that wasn't blocked. It was pretty great. Of course, my mother found out even when I was deleting my search history, and she was like, "How dare you look at porn?" And I was like, but I have to masturbate. You don't understand. My mother being a feminist, she doesn't understand the concept of, you know, 10-year-old boys having to jack off every day. Did I miss the Epstein file discussion? Yeah, we're on to the part about how my mother was trying to prevent me from looking at porn on our dial-up internet connection in 1999. Middle school boys weren't sharing links to cartel executions with me, fortunately. I remember there was one website in which you could look at boobs, but they categorized the boobs by fruit. I think it went like I don't know, it was like grapes, apples, grapefruits, melons. The larger sizes were definitely grapefruits and melons. 100%. I can't remember what the smaller sizes were. We really were that bored in the analog era. We're all talking about feminist moms. My mother is in denial about feminism all the time. I don't even say misogynist shit to her. I just point out that the Japanese feminist movement is basically non-existent, and it makes her angry because it basically denies her entire life's work of being a feminist. She ran away from Japan specifically because she was trying to find like feminist liberation, and she found it for herself, but it definitely hasn't caught on in Japan. Japanese women still being trad wives. I love melons. like the fruit itself, not just boobs. I like watermelons very much. Watermelon is great. I want some watermelon right now. Do you consider cantaloupes to be melons? Yes. I also don't understand why cantaloupes are considered to be inferior melons. They're so much fucking cheaper than, like, the green melons. What's all this anti-cantaloupe propaganda? When is watermelon season? Isn't it like August? Like when the flavors are peaking? I mean, we're already like almost at the end of July. I feel like it's time to start getting the watermelon, but I don't think it's actually going to start peaking until like a few weeks from now. Watermelon season is right now. It's time, boys. Let's go. Fried chicken and watermelon. Summertime. Careful there, bud. It's crazy that the racist stereotype meme is so delicious. I'm not gonna let the black people own the delicious stereotype foods. I want my fried chicken and watermelon myself. I haven't had fried chicken in a long time now that I think about it. There's no KFC in my area anymore, although I wouldn't eat it. American KFC is awful, but there is a Popeyes. I have to drive about like 20 minutes to get there, but I used to buy like you could be able to buy only the chicken, so I would buy like 16 pieces of chicken and then put it in the freezer and then eat it over the course of like 2 or 3 months. But I think they might have stopped that. It was a really good economical way to stock the freezer with unhealthy fried chicken food. You're trying to cut anyways, that is true. Fried chicken for bloat max or guts only. The thing about cutting is you're not allowed to eat food. It sucks. The people who are like, I'm just going to use Ozempic instead, were onto something. But I guess that's not how Ozempic works. I was shocked to learn that the way Ozempic works is that you feel so nauseous that you don't eat anything. That's what I've been told on stream. I mean, if the strategy is to just make yourself feel like shit, then I feel like there's other ways we could do that. Hey, what's up? Is it possible to graft fat onto your dick to literally get a fat cock? No. That's not how penises work. Sounds like a good way to cut your penis off by mistake, honestly. Pretty much any surgery that's like, don't worry, we can make your penis larger and there's no risk, is probably going to end in tragedy. But men are stupid, so when it comes to our dick, we'll be like, sure, I'll try that out. I'm doing carnivore to lose fat, but instead of that, my physical and mental health improved while I'm still chubby. Life is pain. I don't know, man. Carnivore sounds like I'd have really hard shits. I don't think I'd enjoy that. It's dick implants, fatward necrose. Are you saying that me injecting petroleum jelly into my cock might be a bad idea? Like those guys who keep on pumping their arms full of jelly, the Popeye guys. I used to think there was only one guy, but it turns out there's multiple guys who do that shit to their arms. Nobody told him that it's a bad idea, apparently. You do not have hard shits, not if you keep fat intake properly up. I don't know, man. I don't really see any need to do carnivore stuff. Like, we already know what a healthy diet is for humans. We've already figured this shit out. All the other diet fads and stuff like that are just, like, us ignoring the data to make us feel better. Ball only trusts Liver King. Honestly, I was watching some of the Liver King content, and I was like, you know what? I think we should take Liver King more seriously. Yes, he was lying about being all natty and living an ancestral lifestyle while using $10,000 of steroids per month, but the core ancestral tenets of Liver King, he's saying some good things. You know, I think he was making some good points. Like, I think it's good to think about terms of, like, your lifestyle in terms of, like, where ancient hunter-gatherer lifestyles have eaten this or have done this type of activity. And if not, maybe I shouldn't do it. Like, you know, don't eat a shit ton of packaged food full of corn syrup, for example. That's not primal. That's subprimal, guys. Like, if we go Liver King ancestral tenets.
The first ancestral tenet is sleep, because it's the time when the body and brain detox, recover, rebuild, and restore, and this drastically affects our hormones. We can go months without food, weeks without water, but only days without sleep.
See, I like this. When I first watched this, I was like, wait a second. I like how in the first of his ancestral tenets, he already has misinformation. You hear that? He said,
we die.
We die. He's saying you can go like weeks without food. Did he say weeks without water? I can't remember.
Morning sun at the same time every day. Finish your last meal 3 to 4 hours before bed.
He's saying you die with without sleeping for a few days, which is categorically false because we've had people who have done Guinness records of like an entire week without sleep. But yeah, you will die in a few days without drinking water, by the way. There's nothing worse that you can do than being a fit influencer than being like, you don't need to drink water, guys. Like, people literally die because they're whatever health influencers like, don't worry, drinking water isn't a big deal, and then they just fucking die. Bro told you to sleep. Wow, I never thought about that. It's deep, isn't it? You need to sleep and you need to eat. Only Liver King can give you those sort of deep ideas about sleeping and eating. Drink fresh blood instead. Drink fresh blood milked from horse testicles. Delicious. How can we truly know that Liver King is bullshitting if we don't try eating the full horse testicle experience provided by him? Does he only eat the balls or the cock too? I think it's only the balls. Ah! Alright, guys. I'm going to end the stream here. Thanks for the raid. See you around, guys. I have to go cook leftovers because this is my cooking night. Have a nice night, guys. I will continue grinding. I'm on, what, page 38 out of 46. The last two pages don't count, so I'm almost getting to the end. See you around, guys. Good night.